Chairman Stile, Ranking Member Morelli, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Darin Gibbons, and I've been an attorney for the Republican National Committee since October of 2021. During the 2022 midterm elections, I oversaw the RNC's legal election integrity efforts in Pennsylvania and other northeastern states. My role on Election Day was to monitor and manage the issues reported to our Pennsylvania Election Day headquarters. What happened in Luzerne is a national issue because of the impact poor election administration can have on voters' confidence. The main objective of the RNC's election integrity program is to protect and champion voter rights and build trust in the election process. Pennsylvania's Luzerne County faced a catastrophic breakdown on Election Day in 2022. County officials supplied polling places with an insufficient quantity of ballots to get through even the first hours of voting. This led to voters checking in and not receiving ballots, voters being turned away, and voters casting ballots on incorrect paper not recognized by tabulators. Poll workers and party observers scrambled to get answers from the county and the state to no avail. They simply could not and did not take adequate steps to resolve or mitigate these problems. Failures like those in Luzerne County not only have the direct effect of disenfranchising voters through no fault of their own, it also severely diminishes voters' confidence in our elections. I thank the committee for taking this matter seriously and examining how it occurred in order to prevent it from happening again, whether in Luzerne or anywhere else in our country. In hindsight, there were early warning signs that foreshadowed Luzerne was ill-prepared to competently administer this election. For example, it was reported that the county mailed 937 duplicate mail ballots in the weeks leading up to the election. The county also had a recent history of senior staff turnover. Even with these early warning signs, no one could have predicted a meltdown on this scale. On Election Day morning, the headquarters received reports of towns that were out of ballots. Reports of ballot shortages continued, and we noticed the polling locations reporting these issues were all coming from Luzerne. It was apparent that this was a county-wide issue. The RNC's headquarters received reports that a polling location turned away 50 voters because of ballot shortages. A location sent an individual to go purchase computer paper from a store to use for makeshift ballot paper, and locations' machines were not properly scanning ballots. Around 1 p.m., the solicitor filed an emergency petition to the Court of Common Pleas, which subsequently ordered a 2-hour poll extension and that voters voting during the extension cast provisional ballots as required by federal law. However, due to the ballot shortage, some precincts were already out of provisional ballots. Getting accurate information from the county throughout the day was difficult. On Wednesday morning, we dispatched a retained attorney to Luzerne County Board of Elections canvass to give public comment on how the party expected the county to ensure every legal vote was counted. The Luzerne County Board of Elections called a special meeting on November 14th, almost a week after the election, to allow for public comment. Disenfranchised voters and impacted poll workers commented that evening, and the board voted to refer the matter to the district attorney for investigation. A lawsuit by the Bognet for Congress campaign led to a court order for the county to produce a poll book reconciliation. By our analysis, there may have been more than 4,400 more votes signed into poll books than there were votes on tape. However, some of these sign-ins are accounted for by further analyzing the county's notes. It remains difficult to tell exactly how many votes may have not been counted in Luzerne, but it can be concluded that voters were disenfranchised. Although there are slightly less than 200,000 registered voters in Luzerne County, a systemic failure like this is a national issue. It is not just a failure by Luzerne County, but it is a failure by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and its Department of State. It is inevitable that things will go wrong on Election Day, but good election administration accounts for problems and ensures there are clear procedures for what poll workers are supposed to do when things go wrong. Pennsylvania has a reputation for inconsistent election administration practices throughout its counties, which can largely be attributed to a lack of leadership from the Pennsylvania Department of State. Despite warning signs such as the staff turnover, the mailing of duplicate ballots, and early reports of shortages on Election Day, the state left the county to fend for itself during the post-election aftermath. I thank you for having me here today. The RNC is focused on building voters' confidence in elections, and we are optimistic that together we can find solutions that prevent this from happening again. I look forward to answering your questions and continuing to engage with the committee as we work for fair and secure elections.